Would you like me anymore? I was nipped and tucked. Younger, prettier. The truth of the matter's this. I couldn't give a damn what you think of me.
That, of course, is iconic TV detective Vera Stanhope. Hello and welcome to Spotlight. I'm Michael Usher. For millions around the world, British murder mystery show Vera has been a household staple for more than a decade. The central character...
Come on, we're going to the pub.
...has made actress Brenda Blethyn a superstar. And tonight, she sits down with Ashlee Mullany...
I wonder what goes through her head when she's eating a boiled egg.
for this very special interview.
The bright lights of a TV interview would be lost on Brenda Blethyn's most beloved small-screen character.
DCI Vera Stanhope.
Blunt talking, with rumpled raincoat and bucket hat, Vera is anything but a celebrity.
Right.
In the madly popular British crime drama, Vera investigates murders in northeast England.
You won the whiskey last night?
Sadly not. No, that's coming from the victim's clothes.
She's been doing that for 14 years.
Could you have ever imagined that you would end up 14 seasons in and that it would be so wildly successful?
No, not in a million years, no. I mean, I was amazed to have been offered the part. I was thinking about retiring anyway, because I was already 64 when the offer came in. And my agent said, oh, ITV want you to think of you for the part of a detective. I thought, ooh, that's something I haven't done before. Oh, OK. You recorded?
Brenda wanted to be sure the part was right. To do that, she started reading the novels where her character was created. Initially, she wasn't impressed.
I was halfway through it, and there was no sign of this character. I thought, it's not the lead part. And then I read, the door of the church opened, and in came this great lummox of a woman, looked like a bag lady, and this is Vera Stanhope. I thought, well, why have they thought of me for this, right? Well, I turn out quite nice, usually. Oh, and the sight of over 60s flesh causes amnesia, does it? Well, what I like about the Vera character, she's not glamorous, she's not just stepped off a catwalk, she's not dependent on lipstick or any partner, and she holds a responsible position, she's good at it. That's a belter. And she's very ordinary. If you met her at the bus stop, you might have a chat with her, talk about the price of bread or something. And I love the fact that somebody who you might not give a lot of time to ordinarily, who you might meet in your everyday life, it might make you think twice, well, maybe that person's quite interesting. Though your heart is aching, smile, even though it's breaking.
I thought you said you couldn't sing.
I can't. I'm always singing, I never stop.
The person who makes Vera so interesting is this woman, author Anne Cleves.
I think a woman of a certain age, certainly, you might have young women with long blonde hair who solve crimes in high heels. I always thought that was very unrealistic.
Yes, but this is shattering all of that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Someone who's authoritative and strong and doesn't have a family behind her and who doesn't necessarily care what she looks like, but who is very, very good at her job.
Get forensics down here.
Where do you find the inspiration for so many grim murders?
My murders aren't that grim, I don't think. And the murder isn't really necessarily at the heart of the story. They're the trigger for me to be able to write about the other things that I love.
Across 14 years, Vera has solved 56 murders. Beside her for some of those grisly investigations has been Detective Inspector Joe Ashworth.
Well, thanks for that. Who needs a therapist with you around there?
Played by David Leon.
One of the things that's so relatable about her is the fact that she's just so honest. And I think, you know, the two of them are really like a mother and son. I think she kind of loves him and kind of admires him in a way that she doesn't really treat anyone else.
Am I the one who's getting doddery?
Well, there's no right answer to that one, is there?
I think he, in some respects, is almost at his kind of his happiest when they're together.
Do you know what? This case has really made me think. And I did see a lot of myself in young Chloe. Made me think of a lot of things. Like how good my team is.
For people that might not know you as a person, the person behind the character, what words would you use to describe Brenda?
I'm quite fair, I think. I'm just, I know the value of things normally, not just the price. When I was growing up, we were very, very, very poor. And when my parents died, they didn't leave us anything material. They had nothing, but they had a great sense of humour. And myself and my brothers and sisters all have a great sense of humour. And laughter, you know, gets you through so much.
You get the sense 79-year-old Brenda's mum and dad were extremely proud of her, but didn't let fame go to their daughter's head.
I'd been in a play at the National Theatre, and I met a group of students who'd been to see the play, and they all wanted a photograph, so they're getting cameras out and doing all this business. And so I was a bit late to meet my mum, and I said, "Oh, I'm sorry, Mum. The group of students wanted to stop me and have the photo taken with me." And she says, "Oh, isn't that nice? Who did they think you were?"
Brenda says her childhood very much shaped who she is today, including a defining moment with a chocolate machine.
I found a machine that was faulty. You flick the ball round and it either goes into a winning slot or a losing slot. Whichever slot it went in, out came a chocolate bar. So there was something wrong with the machine, and I was flicking around this thing, and I made a bag out of my skirt and I filled it with chocolate bars and took it home. Well, my mum found them.
Rigged the machine.
She took me back down there and took them all back, made me apologise to the man.
It's quite fitting that you've ended up playing this character that stands for truth and justice, isn't it, really?
Yeah. Mind you, we all had a chocolate bar the next day, so Mum kept some of them back.
If you could go back and say one thing to that little girl about how your life would turn out, what would you say?
I would tell her not to be afraid of giving your opinion about things. I'd tell her, "Oh, your opinion is as good as anybody's. It's just an opinion. This doesn't make it fact." So I would tell her that for sure. I'll get me a large drink and a psychiatrist.
When you're going to the Golden Globes and the Oscars, did you have pinch me moments when you think, gosh, look how far I've come?
In 1997, Brenda was in the running for a Golden Globe. But just as the winners were about to be called, nature called.
Just before our names, that category was announced, I'd just nipped to the ladies, but I was wearing an all-in-one tuxedo with the most beautiful brooch. It was about this big, diamante brooch. Oh, it was lovely. But if you're in, any ladies who are watching, you know, if you're wearing an all-in-one, you've got to climb out if you want to spend a penny, right?
They're very impractical.
Yes, very impractical. Anyway, I climbed out and the weight of the brooch made it crash to the floor and it broke in half. And in my despair, I leapt after it. I hadn't quite finished. And I peed on my collar. Gillian Anderson happened to be in there in a beautiful gown, and I'd worked with her previously in New York. She said, "Hey, Brenda, what you doing?" I said, "My brooch, I've lost half of it." She said, "That piece looks really nice. You just wear that piece." And I'm drying off the collar with some paper towels. Anyway, I pinned the half of the brooch back on. And I just got back to the table when they said,
"Brenda Blethyn, Secrets in Lies."
"Crikey."
Oh, thank you so much to the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. I really didn't expect this, truly. I was so happy to be in the building, never mind standing up here.
How does fame sit with you, this wonderful life that you've created for yourself?
It often takes me by surprise if somebody recognises me in the supermarket. I've often said to my husband, what are they looking at? He goes, who? I said, They said, well, they probably recognise you off the telly. I think, oh, I wish I'd combed my hair.
Up next, Brenda face-to-face with Hollywood's leading men.
This is Robert Redford. This is Robert Redford. And he went, Brenda!
Water pistol fight with Brad Pitt. I mean,
I've lived.
And farewelling a friend.
Let's see who knocks on the door.
The woman behind small screen superstar Vera is refreshingly down to earth. Between takes on our shoot, Brenda Blethyn shows me her current exercise passion, speed walking. For Brenda, the journey to Vera was more a marathon and less a sprint.
She's got some bloke in tow.
You all right, sweetheart? Would you get inside?
Shifty-looking leader. Walks like a crab.
In 1996, she starred as a working-class mum in the acclaimed Hollywood hit Secrets and Lies.
Sitting there for a month with a face like a slapped arse.
You complaining? Well, shut up then. Well, when I made Secrets and Lies, somebody said to me, how do you feel seeing yourself on screen looking so awful? It's a sad life that Cynthia had. I said, but I don't see me. I see her, that lady. I said, I'm okay. I go home at the end of the day to my nice house, to a lovely husband who's got a lovely meal waiting for me. She hasn't.
That genuine love for the craft of acting caught the eye of director Robert Redford, who called her out of the blue.
when you got that phone call and you were offered that part, what was that like for you?
I was working in New York in the theatre and I was packing my bag. I was flying home the next morning and I had a phone call and they said, I speak to Miss Blethyn. I said, yeah. They said, oh, it's Robert Redford's office here. I said, oh, shut up. What do you want? Who is it? She said, no, Bob wants to send you a script. I thought, is this for real? And it was, and he did. And I didn't have to audition.
That script was for 1992 period drama River Runs Through It.
When I turned up in Montana, they were already filming a scene. And so I was taken out to set to meet Robert. And he was right across the other side of the lot. And he went, Brenda. I thought, this is Robert.
And what did you say to him?
And he says, now, this character, Brenda, she's very hardworking. She's a Presbyterian preacher's wife. And when things get tough, she just, and I said, gets on with it. He said, excuse me? I said, she just gets on with it. He said, oh, yeah. He thought I said, oh, get on with it.
Mother.
Getting on with it meant playing mother to rising star Brad Pitt.
He was great. I mean, it was quite obvious he was going places. And his mum and dad would come and watch filming. So he was just like a regular guy. We had a water pistol fight one day, but he cheated because he had 2 pistols already loaded.
Water pistol fight with Brad Pitt. I mean, what a life.
I've lived.
But the real leading man in her life is her husband, Michael Mayhew.
When Michael proposed to me, it was on Skype. And I said, you might at least get down on one knee. And he did, and he disappeared off the screen.
Romantic. I'd ask for a redo on that. But has he been a huge support to you?
Oh, he's great. He was, a great supporter, loves Vera, and is very, very proud of the Vera series,
The series has not only made Brenda a global star, it's also made the locations famous. Filmed in northeast England, the stunning backdrops have become must-visit locations for eager fans from around the world.
It's quite wonderful. Just think, Anne Cleeves has created this wonderful project. How must she feel knowing that she's created work for all those people over 14 years?
Now, he's seen something. Either he dived or you gave him a big old push.
Well, I suppose what I'm most moved by are the people who say to me, thank you so much for Vera, and they mean the show. So they're really thanking Brenda and the team. That got me through COVID, or it got me through the bereavement when I lost my husband, or it got me through chemo.
We are so sorry, love.
Have you found that too, Brenda, that you've met people who have, your show and your character has helped them through?
Oh, loads and loads of people have said that the show has got them through difficult times.
I think it's something about that sense of kindness that's at the heart of it, because Vera can be abrasive and she can be brusque, but especially the way Brenda plays her, she's compassionate and she's humane, and mostly she just wants to understand.
This year, the final call was made on Vera. The beloved detective took off that iconic hat for the last time. The decision, not an easy one.
I felt a responsibility for it as well. And in fact, when I eventually decided it was time for me to go, I had to think of all the other people who loved working on the show and probably didn't want to finish. So there was a bit of an emotional thing I was going through.
How proud are you, Anne, of everything that Brenda's achieved with this role?
Absolutely so proud, you wouldn't know.
You're putting her on the spot now.
No, it's true. Just how lucky am I to have my character brought to life by such a consummate actor, but also somebody who really gets and understands the character. That's been the most important thing throughout, I think.
Pretty lucky to have a friendship like this and to have
really
been able to work successfully. And for you, Brenda, I mean, how much has this relationship with Anne meant to you?
Oh, I thank my lucky stars. Anne ever wrote a book. I thank my lucky stars.
Unlike Vera, Brenda is not retiring. She's still passionate about performance and ready for the next role.
I am someone who's blessed and I'm totally unhampered by ambition. I just take what comes along. I'm a bit lazy in that respect. I don't set myself up for disappointment. Let's see who knocks on the door.
Our thanks to Brenda Blethyn, and you can watch the back catalogue of Vera now on 7+.